what we thought except for this. Now, this is going too far because first, I didn't teach this. That is one. So you're supposed to use, even though in a normal setting, what you did was not wrong, but I have not taught this, so I didn't expect to get this as a response. The count if.
Do you know,
Assuming you know what it does, and
I literally watched
yeah,
YouTube
I'm
video to
listening.
do this. I literally watched YouTube video to do the countive. So
No, but we didn't teach it. So
yes,
while I
yes,
appreciate the effort, we didn't teach it. So the goal is for you to be able to use what we taught to be able to do to apply it to something else.
yes,
When we come
right.
to count if, I doubt much if we will be. This is not what we'll be doing for count if. Trust me.
Okay.
For count if, this is not what we're going to be doing. So we're not going to be counting blank using count if. Trust me. So the goal here is actually to use the count a or count blank to test for um, uh, so I'm assuming that what you did was you are counting um, the number of cells that have some left from some values that are not numbers. So basically, you just say equal to count A. I told you count A will count non-empty cells, right? So
Yes.
but we have zero, so it's going to count plus. Okay, what is this? Yeah, it's why is it counting zero, which is weird. Yeah, actually supposed to give me zero, and that is weird. Let me see. Yeah, but it's not supposed to return zero. I wonder why that is. G2 to G41. This is not supposed to be zero. That is weird.
Maybe it's because
Anyways,
I
let
added
me
a
go
zero
back.
to it.
No, it's not even supposed to. It's supposed to count. Let me see what I sent to you rather. Gonna close this. There might be some formatting issues. Excel.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me download. Uh, sorry. That is interesting. It's been a while I opened your um let me see. I think I have it somewhere around here. Here. I hope I'm tracking this. Um still confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Um okay, so let me try and get the downloaded version of this. Let me see. Oh, okay. I see the reason why I yep, why I did not. So I'm going to open my Excel and I think I see the reason why I couldn't find the assignment. So I asked that you do a count of so so the first one I said was join full name and department. So basically what I was asking you to do what I was asking
Yeah,
you to do
because
is to join three. Does that make sense?
yeah, but what I
You
sent
asked
to
me a
you
question and
was
the
that right?
question was quite
Yeah. But what I sent to you because I did it in a different column. Was it right?
separately.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is
so
there
let
a way
me
I
see
could
what
add?
you do. Yeah, so I saw what you did. So the department is already there. So the goal was to join the full name. The full name
Yeah.
consists of the first and last name. You should just join this, and this together. So it should just be full name and department. So one of the reasons why sometimes this is important is especially I think I experienced this. So let's say, for instance, you are trying to get a unique value that represents this each of this role. That anytime I refer to this unique to this value, it represents this role of data. Sometimes
Yes.
we do this basically because if you are going to somewhere much more advanced like SQL, you would need, it's always important that you provide a unique value that represents each role of data that you enter. But this is Excel, especially if you are doing a lot of field data. If you want to, if you don't have a unique value representing this particular role of data, um, oh, that is interesting. This is not supposed to move like this, but it is. If you don't have like um a value representing this role of data, you can actually create one. So, which is I think the goal behind this. So, the first method you can use is to do concatenate, and you just join this guy, comma. Now, because you want to give a space, you now put a literal space, which is a inverted
Yeah. Me too.
double quotation,
Yeah.
and yeah, so you can do this.
Then
Now,
C too. Oh,
so
nice.
you then have this, then you can then do, so from here I can just do control E. Oh no, okay, sorry, I don't think I should do control E. So you can just click and
Drag.
drag,
Yeah.
and you then get this. So this usually would represent a unique value in such a way that, in such a way that if I highlight the whole of this cell and go to conditional formatting and check duplicates, I most likely am not going to see any big, oh wow, so we have Chioma. Oh, so this is a duplicate. So you can see that after even combining these three, you still have like duplicates. So we have Chioma and
Yes.
Logistics, we have Chioma and Logistics, she appeared twice, so that's a problem. So if I do format painter, if I go click here, I'll see a lot of duplicates. I'm very sure, I don't know if I'll see duplicates here. Oh, I have a lot of duplicates here, and so on. So you can see that this is a better way of representing um, um, how would I say, a better way of representing unique values. And you might not, I think I'm just going to involve the formatting. So you might not understand this right now until when we start complex analysis. So especially if your analysis is going to be done in Microsoft Excel, or for some reason a person like somebody created a database and didn't, unfortunately, they didn't provide a primary key. You can create your own primary key by using this particular technique. So it's one of the reasons why it is important to, you don't have to wait. I also provided a unique value
Yeah.
for each of these roles. So I don't know what to do about it. So they say you should count text only in comment section. So the text only in comment section will just be equal to, I'll say count A. Count A will count anything within that particular range of cells that has some for some of value. So again, I think he did some form of formatting. Now, if I say 3 is going to add, if I say this, now
Yeah.
how do I
Yeah.
take care of that? I don't count just text. What I can then do is just count A minus count, and I'll just highlight the same H2 to H41, and I'm done. So because count, we said earlier, count is going to count only cells that have numbers. Does that make sense? So regardless of how many number I enter here, it's going to give me 21. So if I say hi, for instance, hi is going to give me 22. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
one of the reasons why I said the count if and using the asterisk is not the right this thing for this particular purpose is um, because we've not actually taught that it's not as if um, it might not be the right again it did the job. So I would think that asterisks would talking about all texts. Yeah. So I'm imagining that the reason the asterisk is talking about the texts. That's I'm imagining so that's what it does. So, but yeah, you can actually do without using that as a tool. Most especially is because we've not started using it. Okay, they say count the number of numeric entries in the comment section. So what you can then do is also say equal to count a. No, just count, and you just refer to H2, the range of H2 to H41, and you are it's just only going to count only cells that have numbers. So if I say 0, I can see 3. If I
Yeah.
say 1, if I say 21 and hyphen is a text, so it considers it a text. You already did sum of performance, sum of all performance is alt equal to which you did correctly for average performance of staff. So we just say equal to average, and we just see G2 to G41, and we've gotten the average, which you did correctly. A list of all
All
department without
departments, not
duplicates. You
duplicates.
can use you can use I think to do that. You can do right click and paste as value. Click here, go to data, remove duplicates, or what you can do is to use the formula, the function called unique. And unique is just going to get you all the unique values. So I'll say C2 to C41, and it's going to give me, oh, I'm actually going to say C1 out of curiosity, and it's just going to give me all the unique values,
Mm.
which either method actually works. So
Mm.
we started doing functions, right? Formulas or
Yes.
functions rather.
Formulas. Yes.
One thing I can say, um, one thing I can actually tell you is, um, oh, sorry, that's I don't know why I mentioned that. Anyways, um, what we are going to be doing today is cell referencing. I know we've actually talked about cell. I don't know if we've talked about cell referencing before, but I feel we need to actually do that today. The reason is
Mm.
because um I think we should do that.
Yes.
Sorry, let me close this page and open it.
Okay.
I don't know, the Excel is my Excel is acting up for some weird reason. So I'll say Excel. Um, yeah, so it's still not working, which is weird. It's oh, this is weird.
Did you close the app? Did you close the entire app?
Yeah, I did. Oh, still not working. It's weird. So what did I do? Uh, I hope I did not change this to. Oh, oh, sorry. I I think I did screen lock, and that is why. Oh,
Okay.
many apologies. Okay, so let's say the technique to actually remove this forward slash is to either double click on it and just remove, or the other technique I can actually do is to let's assume that we have a lot of Let's just give this, I'll say equal to concatenate, and I'll say concatenate this with a forward slash, for instance, and I get this. And let's see, I'm going to drag it down. I'll just say Control C and paste as value. Now let's assume that I have a problem. Now I have this stuff. I want to remove the forward slash. What I can do is just to highlight. I'll say go to my home ribbon, go to find and select. I actually want to do replace. What do I want to replace? I want to replace forward slash with nothing, and I want to replace all. I don't want to just replace the first, but all. And you can see that it has made several changes to this, and my forward slash has gone off. Now, I wanted to state that out there. I think I've done it a couple of times, but I feel the need to actually do that. So, talking about cell referencing,
Okay.
cell referencing, you know what referencing is? You are referring to something. So they'll say refer to this
Yes.
document, refer to this particular page for this. You have to go to that particular page. Now, Excel in cell referencing is just referring to a cell in a in another cell. For instance, this is our current active cell, right? The one with the green,
Yes.
yeah. So which is O what? O O5. Now, if I do that, I can see that my O is highlighted and 5 is highlighted. So it just gives you an idea of which cell you actually are on. So if I click on this cell, you can see that, let's say I click on this particular cell. This whitish color on the column value or the column alphabet will change. So I'll just click here and I'll see P, and I'll then see here as highlighted to 3. It's just to give you an idea for um, ease of identifying the cell you're actually in. I never really noticed this until recently. I think I noticed that in one of our sessions. So that actually the row highlights as well as the column. I never really noticed it before. And for some reason, I don't think a lot of tutorials I've actually watched had noticed it as well. Or maybe they did, they
Mhm.
just assumed that people would know. Now, say I want to refer to a particular cell. What I can do is to say, so if you are trying to do cell referencing, you are trying to use formula. And in order for me to initiate a formula, I will say equal to. Let's say I want to get a cell, the content of a particular cell without me having to type it. I put also to M5 and I'm done. I'll just click on OK. What is the advantage of this? If I change anything here, it automatically changes. So if I say,
Mhm.
let's say great, I want to automatically what I'm referring, the cell that I referred this particular cell to automatically change to that particular value. Now, this is known as relative cell referencing. So this is known as relative cell referencing. Sorry.
All right.
Why is it relative? It is relative because if I click and drag to my left or I click and drag to my right, or I click and drag to my right or I click and drag downwards, the value of this particular referred cell to changes. So if I click towards my bottom or down, it changes to needs improvement. So it's referring to M6. Now, if I click on this particular cell that I did a cell referencing, applied cell referencing to, you can see that it changes from what M5 towards
Mm.
M6.
Um,
Do you notice that?
yes.
So it is called relative cell referencing because of that. Now, if I click and drag to my right, maybe M5 now, in P6, I click and drag the cell I refer to my right. you can see that it has returned 0. And what are we seeing? What cell is it referring to? It is now referring to N6. So what has changed between this row, the column alphabets? This is M6, this is N6. So it is called relative cell referencing is because it changes when you drag it across or from top to bottom. Now, if I click and drag it to my left, it will give me L6, which is HR. Do you understand?
Yes.
So that is why it is called relative cell referencing. If I click and drag down, it changes. The cell that I'm referring to automatically changes. So
7.
from M5, I have M6, now I have M7. Now, what is changing? The row number, right?
Yes. Yes.
Is that not? The row number is the one
Yes.
that is changing from 5 to 6 to 7. Now, when I clicked from my left, I drag it to my left and right, what changes? The column alphabets.
Yes.
So the row number remained, the column alphabet changed. And oh, mind you, there's a reason why I'm saying the column alphabet. I want you to really get used to this terminology. The row is identified with numbers, the column is identified with alphabet. I could have just said easily the row, or I would just say easily the column, but I want you to get used to the idea of column alphabet row number. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, this is relative cell referencing, and relative cell referencing are of 3 types. This is the first one, what you are seeing here. There is a second one that I'm going to lock. I will make my column fixed and the row I will leave it open so it will change. So that the only thing that will change is my row number. There's another one that I will lock my row number, that this row number will never change as long as I drag it, but the column alphabet is going to change. So there's the first one, which is that both the column alphabet and the row number can change. The second one is the row number would remain fixed and the column alphabet will change. Or the third one, which is sorry, hold on. Just hold on. The third one, which is that the column will be fixed and the row number is going to change. Let me show you how that is. Now, there's a reason why those are important, and there's a reason, there's an application for all of them. Now, let's say I want to refer to everything here, right? Everything here. If I'm going to click and drag across down the column, what changes? What changes? What is the significant change you can see while scrolling down? You can see that my M is the same thing, but the numbers are changing. Look at
Yes. Yes.
my
34 currently.
my formula
Yeah.
bar. That is what is changing. So basically what I can do is to say, since I want to click and drag down, I can either leave it like this, or I can say, oh, since the column is not going to change, I'm going to lock that column. What I'm then going to do is, in front of my M, I'll just put a dollar sign.
Mm.
And so what that does is that my M is going to click. I know, right? You might not notice the difference until when I start dragging it across the row. So let me drag it to Q5. What do you think is going to show? It's still going to show great performance. Why do you think that
Yes.
is? Because I'm saying that refer to refer to my M column and make my M column always fixed. That's what I'm saying, by putting the dollar sign in front of in front column alphabet, I'm saying that regardless of where I drag my value to, always refer to my M column. Don't change it. So now it is referring to the same M column, but the reason why the 5 is not changing, because the whole of this, regardless of where I click, is row 5. The whole of, regardless of where I click, the whole of this is row 5. You are still in row 5. You understand? But the
Yes.
but what is changing is the column. So now I'm saying that this column don't change. The row number will change if you are going from top to bottom. The column number is going to change if you are going from left to right. So right is column number, the row is column alphabet, and the row number is from top to bottom. Now, when I'm clicking to the side, it means that the row number will not actually change in reality, and only the column alphabet will change. But when I decide to start clicking and dragging down, then the row number is going to change, and it is going to give me the same thing. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
that is one application, that is one of the iteration of relative cell referencing, or the second iteration. The third is that I'm going to make my row fixed and my column, I would make it flexible. So what does that mean? For instance, I am going to say, let me show you what that means. So I'm going to do the same thing, but here I'll say equal to, and I'll now refer to this particular cell. So I've referred to this particular cell. Now, for me to make my row number fixed, I'm going to put a dollar sign in front of my number, before my number, and I'll leave the column without a dollar sign, which meaning I have locked my row and left my column. I'll then click on OK. Now, what do you think I'm going to get if I drag across from top to bottom? What do you think is good? You expect? What is the expectation? Look at what
Because
happens. It's just going to show me great performance.
it's performance, yeah, because it's locked, yeah.
Everything will just be great performance. Everything.
Yes.
Why? Look at, I'm saying that the column should remain flexible. But remember that this particular column I'm referring to is M. If I'm clicking down, if I'm clicking and dragging downwards, that is from top to bottom. The column didn't change. You understand? So I'm
Yes.
going to see great performance all through. But what happens if I, let me see. If I, for instance, click and drag to my left, what is then going to change?
Finance.
You can see that now that I'm dragging from my left to right, the row number remains the same thing, but the column changed. Why? Because what that means is if I copy this, Control C, I paste it here. What do you think I'm going to get?
Copy
I'm going to get
what?
department. Oh, if I copy this and
Okay.
paste it here, I'm going to, if I copy this, whatever my value is, and paste it, I'm going to get
Yes.
finance. What does that
Yes.
mean? Let me refer to this particular cell. Let me see. First name. Now, if I, this is relative cell referencing without having to lock any of my columns, right?
Yes.
So this will work. It will still work for this like this if I do this. If I lock my row, I put a dollar sign. Now, if I click and drag, it's still going to work. It's still going to give me the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
However, if I click and drag downwards, I'm still going to get the same thing. Why? Because I have locked the row number, and I'm saying that wherever I drag this to, let the row number be the same thing. And that is why even if I drag it down across my column, The column, of course, is changing. I've left it to change, but because I'm dragging across from down a column, the column actually wouldn't change. It will just remain the same thing. Now, I'm going to show you because there's a reason why I needed to explain this concept so that you will understand what it does. The next is so I think I'm just going to paste the relative cell reference in here. So I'll do, this is one of the iterations of relative cell referencing so that you might understand. Oh, sorry. So this is lock row. I'll say leave the column, leave column, lock row. This will be what? Lock column, leave row, and this is leave both column and row. So these are the three iterations of relative cell referencing. The second type of cell referencing is called absolute cell referencing. What that does is I'm going to lock both the row and the column. So it will only give me that value that I'm referring to regardless of where I drag my my cell to. So what I'm just going to do is just put a dollar sign in front of the row, the column alphabet. I'll also put a dollar sign in front of the row number. So let me show you what that means. So I'm going to refer to A1. I'll say equal to A1. Now I'm going to apply absolute cell referencing. So what I'm going to get is my A1 is first name, right? My A1 is first name. That's what the value in my cell A1. Now, if I click and drag down, I'll get first name. If I click and drag to the right, I'll get first name. If I click and drag to the left, I also get first name. If I
First
click and
name.
drag up, I'll also get first name. So it is not going to change. And you can look at it, I'm seeing A1 all through. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Right.
This is going to really come in handy, like seriously handy when we start applying complex functions. We'll start combining different functions. So let me list the things we've done so that off the top of my head. Yeah, so we've done for formulas, we've done count, sum, average, we've done
Average.
concatenate,
Concatenate.
text join, whatever. So we've done cell referencing.
Mm.
Now we are now going to go to statements or conditional statements. That's where we are going to now. So we've done conditional formatting, right?
Yes, conditional formatting. Yeah, that's the best of it.
So you can say conditional statement, we can say statements, or we can say logics. That is where we are going to go to now.
Sorry, I want to ask a question. Like, how did you get this cell reference? And did you type it? And
Sorry, I didn't follow.
like, how did you get the cell reference? And where did you go to? Is it page layout, insert, or how did you
No, cell
go about
referencing,
it?
I said cell referencing is formula based.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying if I want to refer to a particular cell, if you want to initiate a formula, you say equal to. That was the first thing you do.
Okay.
Then I'll
Okay,
just
yes.
click on the cell I want to refer to.
Oh, oh,
Or
so
I can
simple.
actually type. You can type the cell you want
Okay.
to refer to. So you say S6 and it will show you that it's S6. You understand? I'll click on
Okay,
OK
okay.
and I will see. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, nice.
Cool. So the next thing we are going to go to is these three are one and the same. Now people say statements, people say logic, somebody will say conditional statements and stuff. But it's the same when you see them. I think it's statement in programming language, I think.
Hmm.
But I am actually meaning the same thing. Now, the function for this is the if statement. So it's called an if statement. It's a function, and what it does, basically what it does is you set a condition for yourself. I want to set a condition that once a particular cell meets that condition, it should either give me something or the other. So in how you write it is you write your if. Inside it you have your logic. Then you return a result. So result, if your logic is true, automatically, if your logic is false, you return something. Return if false. So that's how this works. So you write your logic statement. For instance, let me see. What logic can I write? Okay, good. So let's say for absent days, I want to test for everything that is less than or equal to 5, or less than 5, greater than 5, basically. And I want to say if your absent date is less than 5, for instance, I would say forgiven or overlooked. But if it's greater than five, maybe I have a concern. This is concerning. So I want to add a comment here. As somebody, as the HR, so I'll just say HR comment. Right. So I'm reviewing this person's absent days. I was like, okay, we are going to, maybe the company has given a mandate that, okay, let's forgive this absent that is less than anything less than 5. And so I want to make a comment on my table. I want to look for everything less than 5. So we can see that we forgive Paul Doe, Mike Kiln. We also forgive Paul Lee. We also forgive um we'll not forgive Paul Smith. We'll not forgive Chioma Ade Balogun. We'll forgive him, and so on and so forth. But this is just me um um doing this particular process manually. I can use this if statement to write this logic, and I will get my desired result. So the result is, what do I want to get? What is my desired result? So I will want to forgive. So we want to overlook this absent that is less than 5 days. So these are problem statements. So how then do we now define it in computational terms, or in a more analytical terms? I can say, I would say comment overlook for this absent less than 5 days. Sorry. So put a comment overlook, else comment let's say severely dealt with for days. HR are very ruthless people.
Yes, yes.
Greater than 5 days. Now this is what I want to achieve. How then do I achieve it in code? What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my if statement. I'll go to insert function, and I would see this is my most recent use. I'll just type if, and I can see my if. So now the one of the things I think I like about Excel, it's a very interactive tool. You can see that's giving us an idea of what our if statement does. So it takes logical test,
Yes.
value if true, then comma value if false. What does it do? Checks whether a condition is met and return one value if
If
true and
true,
the other value
another
if
value
false.
false.
So I'll then click on my OK. Then this prompt is then going to open. What is my logical test? So I want to test my logic for each and every rule, and for each and every cell of data, put either overlooked or severely dealt with. So what am I referring to? Days absent. Days absent, you can see, is our main div here. So days absent, and I don't need to refer to everything. I can only refer to the first cell, right? Because I do not want, maybe I need to make any mistake. I want whatever output I get here should remain the same thing. What I'm going to do is I've referred to F3 now as my cell, which is relative cell referencing. But what I'm then going to do is to put a dollar sign in front of the column alphabet. And what that will do is it will make sure that regardless of where I drag my cell to, I apply the formula to, the column will always be the same thing. Now, what is the value if true? My value if true is, I'm going to say, overlook. What is my value if false? Severely dealt with. This one that you are saying, this needs work like that you are saying,
Oh God.
So I'm going to say severely dealt with. Now,
That's it.
one of the good things is whatever the condition or the logic is, it's always going to give me an output. That's one of the good things with this. Oh, sorry. I'm supposed to say less than 5, right? So I'll say less than 5.
Yes.
Right. So if this cell is less than 5, overlook. If it is equal to 5 or more, severely dealt with. That's basically what is going to happen. Now, I don't need to say, because so this is the logic here for less than or greater than. So if I say, give me, let's say I want to borrow money from you, right? I
Yeah.
say I'm in need of money. You now say
Mm-hmm.
how much? I say you can give me anything, anything from 500 downwards. What am I saying? I'm saying that if you have anything above 500, that is not what I want.
Oh,
Does that make sense? So give me
yes.
anything from 500 downwards. So anything you give me from 500 downwards is acceptable. So if something is not less than, is either equal to or greater than that particular thing. I don't know if you understand.
Mm-hmm.
So if I
Yes.
say, don't give me anything less than 500, what am I saying?
That's below 500.
Yeah, so don't give me, what am I saying? What is the implicit statement? What do I want? Or explicitly, what do I want? Don't give me anything less than 500. What does that mean?
Maybe you want like 450.
I said, don't give me anything less than 500. That's what I said.
Anything less than 500.
Do you understand what that means?
No, I don't.
You don't understand the English. Don't give me anything less than 500. What do I want from you?
You don't want anything that is less than 500, like more than I don't know how to put
I
I don't
said,
know how to
don't
put
give
the
me
English.
anything. No, put it in mathematical terms now. Don't give me anything less than 500. What will you give? So if I say don't give me anything less than 500, what will you give me?
Don't give me anything less than 500. I'll give you 300.
I said, don't give me anything less than 500. 300 is less than 500. Anything less than 500,
Oh,
don't give it to me.
I'm going to give you like 700 or 1,000.
So if I say don't give me anything less than 500, is 500 part of the condition?
No. Sorry. No.
Are you sure? I said don't give me anything that is less than 500.
That's you want. Hey, God.
No, just settle down. It's English we are speaking. Don't give me anything less than 500. What is acceptable for you to give me? Anything less than 5. I'm putting a condition there that anything less than 5, don't give me. So it means that if you give me 500, I'll collect. If you give me anything above 500, I'll collect. But if you give me 499 bucks, I'm not going to collect it, because the condition I set is anything less than 500, I don't want. That's what it means. Does that make sense? I'm just trying to establish a point. If something is not less than something, it is either greater than or equal to it. That's what I'm just trying to establish.
Okay. Greater than. Is it going to be more than 500?
So if I say don't give me anything less than 500, it means that I'm saying that give me equal to 500 or anything above 500. That's what it
That's
means.
more than 500. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, if I say F3 here less than 500, return value if true. Overlook, that's what I want to return. If this particular value here is less than 5, right? But if false, it means that if it is not less than 5, meaning it is either greater than or equal to 5. That's implicitly what it means. Indirectly, what it means is
Are you there?
can you hear me?
Yes, but it went off for a minute.
Yeah, yeah, my router went off. I was charging. I didn't know when
Okay.
um routers they do these days does have battery,
Yeah.
you know. So anytime I remove it from charge,
So
I don't
it
really
has to always
bother
be in
to.
light. It has to always be plugged in light.
And so the problem with that is um can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Anything with battery, for instance, your laptop is not meant to be plugged every time. I think
Okay.
people abroad actually make that mistake. They will always plug their stuff every time. And so what they at the end of the day, what you then have is a desktop that don't. Battery is not supposed to be charged every time. Like if you constantly charging, it's going to get spoiled. So, anyways, fine. So for something that is not less than, is that greater than equal to? So if it is less than 5, the what I want you to return is overlooked. If it is greater than or equal to 5, implicitly, what I want you to return is severely dealt with. I'll click on OK. So you can see I've gotten overlooked. Why? Because 2 is less than 5, right? If I
Yeah.
then click and drag down, I'll get overlooked. Why? 1 is less than 5. If I click and drag, I'm going to get 3 which is less than 5 is overlooked. So what happens if I click down? What am I going to get here in the fourth value for 5? What am I getting? What
Overlook.
is the is
Severely
severely
dealt
dealt
with.
with?
Hey
Because
God.
now. So if I say less than 5, it means from 0 to 4.
Okay. Yeah.
5 is
Okay.
not part of it.
224. Okay.
5 is not part of what I'm asking you to do, right? So
Yes.
I'm then going to click drag until I'm done. So it means that for this is overlooked because it's 2, this is severely dealt with because it's 7 days, and so on and so forth. So this is one of the application of the if statement. It's called a logical statement, or a statement, or a logic. So we actually use them to do things like this automatically, because I am too lazy. I don't want to um I'm just too lazy, right? um
My God.
what happened?
Nothing. My head is
Okay,
blowing hot.
don't worry, it's
It's
going to get
fine.
hotter. So this is the if statement, right? And so we have um, another if statement that is called nested if,
Nested.
and it works like if, but this is how it works. So I have my if statement that has a logic, or a logical test, as Excel said. So I have a logic. I have true, I have false. The value if true, value if false. Now, a nested if is where my value is equal to false. I'm going to place another if statement inside it. If I want to nest that, so it's called nest for a reason. A nest is something that houses something else. So a nested if is an if statement that has another if inside it. And how do you do that? When I'm going to return value if false, I will just add another if statement. So return value if false, I'll add another if statement inside. Another value if false, I'll return value if false, add another if statement inside it. Now, so we have 4 if statements, but the last statement, if, is a child of this if. This if is a child of this if, and this if is a child of the first if. So more or less, like, this is a child, this is father, this is grandfather, and this is great grandfather. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I still feeling headache? Has it increased?
It has increased.
Okay, don't worry. I'll add to it. Okay, fine. Why is this important? It is important if I want to write multiple logics or logical tests. Let me show you what I mean by that. Now, I want to do a comment, this same comments that we have here. I want to write a comment. Now, I want to write a comment based on performance score, and I want to score this. So let's set our conditions. So I'll say, let's see. So I'll say performance score. I want to grade. Oh, yeah, I want to grade this score. Let me just grade them. So our grade, what is the average of this? Let me see the average. Equal to, okay, the average is about 80 point something. So I will say between 60 to 71. If my performance score, okay, let me even try something. Equal to average of this. Okay, no. So it is G42. I'm just trying to do some statistics.
Okay.
Um, equal to mean of G2 to G42, 66, and I would equal to max G2. Don't worry about this. I'm just trying to do
Okay.
some. I want to establish between what's the difference between my minimum value and average value. 14, my maximum and average. I am just trying to do some logic. I think it's about 15. Oh, shoot, sorry. So it's minus. So, hmm, okay, very close. So, anyways, it's fine. Our minimum is this. Okay, let me just do 66 to what is 66 plus 14? 66 plus 14 is what? Equals 66 plus 14. 80. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just trying to establish something. So 94. Oh, we have only two grades. I don't want to. Let me divide it by 17 by 7. I'm just trying to do I want to come up with a range of value. I'll say 7. Okay, cool. 80. No, no. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. So let's say, so I'll say between 66 to 72. I would say 73 to 80, 81 to 87. I'll say 88 to 94. I would say 95 to 101. Now, my grade would be, of course, anything above 95 would be uh, great. Maybe I would say, no, excellent. Let me put excellent. I would say this one is great. This one is good job. I would say this one needs improvement or can do better. Yeah, I can say needs improvement. Improvement. Let's say excellent job. Excellent work, rather. So then the last one is poor, poor job, rather. Right. So I've then done my performance. I've um how do they call this? I've grouped my performance into 5 different categories. The numbers that fall between poor job, great job, this, and this. Hmm. Unfortunately, I want to, as a HR person who is a very wicked person. No, they are not wicked. They are just trying to do their job. Please, I'm not saying HR guys are wicked. Can you hear me?
Yes, my mic
Yeah.
was
So
muted. I knew I've been
okay, no
talking
problem.
since.
Oh, okay, cool. So I've done like my scoreboard, and I want to grade my these individual persons. Now, somebody like 94 would be great job, right? Somebody like
Yes.
76 will be what? 76 will need improvement. Somebody like 81, good job. 82 is still good job. Let's see what is there. Sorry, please just hold on. I don't
No,
know why
okay.
people are calling me when I'm holding a session.
Fine.
Sorry, the um my mother-in-law sent something and they, they just called me now that um they are around.
Oh, oh.
Uh, yeah, cool. So we want to do this particular performance, and what we can do is to say, so basically I can say if anything less than 72, anything less than 73 is poor performance. So implicitly I can say less than 73, this is less than 81, this is less than
15,
88, this is less than
6.
95, and this is greater than 95. Does that make sense?
What?
I said the first one, the first range is less than 73. The second range is
Okay.
less than 81. The third
81,
is less than,
88.
right?
Yes.
88, 88. The fourth,
Okay.
95. Another way I can do this is to say less than or equal to 72. Less than or equal to 81.
81.
So it will not work. Control Z. So I'll say less than or equal to, no, this is less than or equal to 80, sorry. Less than or equal to 87. Sorry, they might interrupt me with calls again. Less than or
All right,
equal
that's fine.
uh, to 94. And the last one will just be greater than, so it will be greater than 94. This is actually greater than 94, not greater than 95, because 95 is also inclusive. So anything greater than 94 is
Yes.
95 above, right? So what I
Yes.
can then do is to write a nested if statement using this. So I would say equal to. Now I do not want to use from the function uh, insert function, because nested if usually would not work. I want to type it hands on myself. So if, what is my logical statement? If this my performance G3, again, because I'm going to drag down the row, down the column, I'm going to lock the column, which is G. I'll say if G3, right, is less than or equal to 72, what will I say? I would say I'll do another cell referencing. Poor job. And I'm going to use absolute cell referencing because I don't want it to change. Now, instead of say return false, I'll now say comma, I'll now write if my same G3, I'll lock the column, is less than or equal to 80, what I want to say, I'll do absolute cell referencing needs improvement, because I don't want to type, I'm too lazy. That's why I'm using absolute cell referencing. Oh, sorry, just hold on. The guys are calling me again.
All
Sorry,
right,
please
that's
just
fine.
hold on.
That's fine.
Sorry, please. So, because I don't want to type, that's why I'm doing absolute cell referencing here. I don't know, I'm too lazy. Otherwise, I'll just start typing poor job, needs improvement, and so on and so forth. Now, inside this my if, I'll now write another if again. I'll say if G3 is less than or equal to 87, then return good job. Now I'm going to lock it. Because I'm doing absolute cell referencing, I'm going to be dragging my cells. I don't want it to change. Then that's the value if true. For value if false, I will now say if again. I will then say if this same G3 is less than or equal to 94, then just refer to this. I'm going to lock it. Then what is the last one? I really don't need to write excellent job. The last value, instead of me to say if, now remember that the if statement will also return a value if false. So the last one now, I'm now going to return a value if false, and I'll just say excellent job. I really don't need to mention or give a condition any longer. So I'll just click on. Now you might want to start typing the first one, the second one, the third bracket close. But I'll just click on OK. It might prompt me an auto correction prompt. So it's saying that we have found a typo in your formula and try to correct it, and it has corrected it for me. Do you accept this correction? Usually yes. Now you can see that 94 less than or equal to 94 is great, or let's say great job. Now the good thing with absolute cell referencing, let's say I want to say great job and not great, I'll just type job here, and you can see that my formula has changed. So it's one of the good things with cell referencing, whether absolute or relative cell referencing. I made a mistake, I wanted to change. Yeah, so if I click and drag the second one, 76 is between 73 and 80, so most likely I'm going to see needs improvement. That's what I'm going to see. 81 is good job, right?
Yes.
And so on. So I can just click and drag because I've done some tests and it works. So something like 95 here, I'm going to see what? Excellent job. But I did not, in my formula, I didn't say greater than 94. I didn't even put the value for 95. But I said if something is not less than, it is either greater than or equal to. Meaning that if something is not less than or equal to, then it is what? Greater than.
Greater than.
Does that make sense? So if something is not less than, then it is the next two options. It is either greater or equal
Or
to.
equal to. Okay.
Then if it's something is not less than or equal to, is what? Greater than.
Greater
The same
than.
thing. If something is not greater than, is less than or equal
Less
to.
than or equal to.
Yeah. If something is not greater than or equal to, is what? Is the
Less
opposite.
than.
Less than. So there is a less than, equal to, greater than. If something is not less than or equal to, it is what? Greater than. If
Greater
something
than.
is not less than, it is greater than or equal
Greater
to.
than or
Does that
equal
make
to.
sense?
Yes.
I don't know why this is. Oh, because oh, interesting.
Seriously. Oh.
No. It's an Excel thing. Don't worry about it. So if
Okay.
something is not greater than or equal to, is what? Less than.
Less
If
than.
something is not greater than, it is what?
Equal
Less than or
to.
equal to,
Okay.
basically. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it is with that logic I used to write my nested if. So in such a way that for things like 90, anything above 9, let's even, so this is 94. I put 9, if I put, in fact, if I put 200, it's going to show me excellent work. Does that make sense?
200.
Yes, it's going to show me excellent work. Why?
Wow.
Because 200 is neither less than or equal to 94. So it is greater than 94, which is the last logic I wrote. So if it is not less than or equal to 94, is what? Greater than 94.
Greater
So that is
than
value if
94.
false. Basically, value if false. So what I did was I wrote how many logic? 1, 2, 3, 4. The child logic, the father logic, the grandfather logic,
Thanks for
and
that.
what?
The
The
great
great
grandfather.
grandfather. Do you understand?
Wow.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yes.
So the first logic was less than 72. This doesn't fit. The second logic is less than or equal to 80. This doesn't fit. The third
Okay.
one is less than or equal to 87.
But
It doesn't
87
fit.
doesn't fit.
The fourth one is less than or equal to 90. This doesn't 94. It doesn't fit.
Doesn't
Now,
fit.
it doesn't fit for value if true, but it fits for value if false because it is neither less than or equal to 94. It is greater than. So automatically it returns value if false. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Are you still
Mm.
having headache?
Hey, serious
Are you
one.
still having headache? Okay, let me give you another headache.
No.
So I'm going to give you the last of the bunch. So I have nested if. I have um sorry. So this is the nested ifs and if. Then the last one. This is much more easier than the logic. It does almost the same thing, but the difference between it and the nested if is that it only returns value if true. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So let me show you what it does. So I'll say, now for this one, I don't mind actually using the inserts. I will type ifs. Look at my ifs. So it will take logic test, value if true.
If true.
So checks whether one or more conditions
No
are met
content
and
are met
return
and
a
returns
value
value
corresponding to the
corresponding to the
first
first
true condition.
true condition.
Now, so I'll click on OK. My first logical test is what? G3 is what?
G3, 200.
Is less than or
Okay.
equal to 72. That's my false. You can even see it's even writing false for me. So what do I want to return? Again, I'm too lazy to type. I'll just click um on this because
And
that's what I want to return, and I'll make it
okay.
absolute cell referencing because I don't want it to change. The second one is if G3 is what? Again, I'm going to put a dollar sign in front of my G. If G3 is less than or equal to 80, which is still false, what I want is I'll refer to this cell and I'll put I'll lock it. I'm pressing F4 so that it will just lock it for me completely. Absolute cell referencing. The third condition is if G3 is less than or equal to 87, I would say, oh, G3. So you can see it's even showing me that there's a problem. I'm going to return good job and I'm going to do absolute cell referencing. The next one, if G3 is less than or equal to 94, what should I return? Great job. Great job. The last one. Now, the for nested if, I have to return a value if false. For if statement, I have to write that logic. If G3 is greater than 94, I have to write that logic. You can see it's telling me true. Then I'll say return excellent job. I don't know why this thing is showing plus. Now you can see that what then I'm going to do you see this equal to here and it's showing excellent work. There's excellent work here, but there's still excellent work here. This is the result. This is what I'm going to get. So if I click on OK, I can then see excellent work and I can then click and drag. So it's basically going to return the same thing for me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I can make it weird for you. I can add some weird stuff for you too. But I think I'm going to leave that for today. I can make it more complex, but I don't want to make your life difficult. I can write the logic in this format, not in this other format. I can write it in this format, and um it's going to give me the same thing. So so this is using nested if. This is using ifs. I'm going to say ifs, and I'll combine two function. And again, we'll do this some other time, but let me just quickly do it for you so that you see.
Okay.
So I'm going to use the ifs. Now I'm going to fit in this condition now because I want to strictly fit in this condition. I'll say and if G3 is greater than or equal to 66 and G3 is less than or equal to 72, then I'll say return for job. I'm going to use absolute self-referencing. I'll just copy this because I'm too lazy. So this is less than or equal to 73 and greater than or equal to 73 and less than or equal to 80. There are many iterations of this thing I can actually write, but again, I'll paste because I've already, so it's between 81 and 87. So I'll just say 81 and 87. One of the reasons why I like data analytics, I told you that it's because I'm so lazy.
What if
Like
I'm not
I am,
lazy?
I'm lazy. I'm very lazy. That's why I like data analytics. I don't know how people see it, but me personally, I used to say it's for lazy people.
Really?
Yes, now you don't want to you don't want to continue doing repetition of anything. I think is a best is one of the.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
the last one, I don't need to write and I'll just say if G3 is just greater than or equal to, I'll just say greater than 95. Right. Then return excellent job. No why it's saying plus, but and you can see it has returned the same excellent, and I can click and drag. Now, oh, so this is 95. I said greater than 95. Why is it not returning excellent job for me? That's interesting. I don't know why. Oh,
Mm.
so it's greater than 94, not 95. Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't leave space for 95, 94. So, yeah. So now, what is the difference between what I just wrote here and the rest? Now, anything less than the problem with this is anything less than 66. So let's say this is 65. It's going to return not available for me because I have restricted it to between, so like the way this is, I've restricted it to this performance range. So it's starting from 66 to 100 and to anything above 95. So 66 above. I'm not considering any number below 66. That is the difference between this and the rest of this, the nested if as well as it. And it is in the logic in itself. Imagine if I had said my first logic was anything, I'm not going to use the and. I'll just say less than or equal to um, less than or equal to 75. Oh, 72. Right. It's still going to return poor job because less than or equal to 72 starts from negative infinity to positive 72. So even if I say negative 87, it's still going to show me poor job. right? If I say 0, it's still going to show me poor job. If I say 66, it's still going to show me poor job. If I
Good
say
job.
72, it's still going to show me poor job. But if I say 73, it moves to the next line. Needs improvement. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
that's the difference between what I wrote before and the rest of the nested if. So it's just in its logic. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So in fact,
Yes.
this one I can say I can use and here. In fact, if I were to follow the this I'll say and I'll just copy this. I will say less than or equal to a greater than. So it will then be greater than or equal to 95, less than or equal to 100. In fact, it will be less than or equal to 100 and 101. Now I'm supposed to delete this because this is not it, and I'm supposed to use um, this. Yeah, I think if I have any problem, it's going to correct it for me. So you can see that now that I've restricted my formula to 101, so anything greater than 101, it will show me not available. So if I say 101, it will show me excellent job. 101.5, it will still show me not available. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that is the difference between the logic I wrote using ifs, using nested if, and using if and. So it's just all in the logic. What the and does is I'll explain that to you in the next session, hopefully. Let me not make you feel headache more than the one you already feeling. Any questions?
Okay, so I want to ask, is there a way I could go about instead of me using logic? Can I use another thing apart from this logic? Like even if I'm not lazy, because the logic is catching my head.
Yes, you can. Okay, let me show you another iteration of this. Let me show you another iteration of this. You don't have to, but um
If I can actually do it, but I mean, if is there another way? Something I can watch
yeah,
and watch
there's
and
another way. Let me show you. I think 72, 80, 80, 87, if I'm not correct, 94,
for 101.
uh, so to be 101. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm actually supposed to look at the middle of this, but I want to try one method, and it's a
Okay.
different kind of function. I'll say equal to, again, is a function.
Okay.
Yeah, you might not like this. It's not
Hmm.
really the best way to go about it, but
Really? Then maybe I'll just stick to
uh,
this logic. I'll just read more on it. Maybe you should not show me.
so you can see.
So it should not scatter my brain.
So okay, so this logic is not written very well, and I think I was supposed to pick the middle of this. Um, this works fine. Excellent job, but I think I was supposed to pick the middle of this. What is the middle between 60? Forgotten. My head is spinning itself.
You know what? Maybe you should not show me. I'll just maybe tomorrow, another day. I don't know. I'll just watch this video. I think I want to know. It's interesting, right? But I'll watch it and watch it and watch it. So
Here is how is this? Sorry, just hold on. I'm trying to think. Um, I think the middle of this is hold on. Sorry.
okay.
Um, between 672 plus 66 divided by 2. There's no 105. It's supposed to be this. Oh, it's supposed to say average. $72.66. Oh, 69. That's interesting. So yeah, so this should be 69. Let me just replace it. Control C, Control V, then do this. And I think I will do the same thing for. Let me see if it will even work. Okay, let's see. Control C and Control Z. Okay. Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just trying to come up with some. It won't work. Okay, so but it's fine. So I think this is 69. I'm supposed to look for the average of these, so to be average. Again, I'm too lazy and I'm feeling headache at the same time. I'm lazy and I'm feeling headache at the same time. Divided by
Sorry.
2. So it's supposed to be plus. Oh, interesting stuff. But then it means that this is okay. So I think this one will be the middle of this is 84. The middle of this should be 88, 89, 90, 91. Yeah, so this is the 91. The middle of 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101. Okay, the middle of it will be 95, 96, 97, 98. Yeah, if I'm correct, then so between 70, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 72, 80. Oh, are you watching a movie or somebody's asking you a question? Okay, I think I can then work with this. Yep. Again, this is another way to go about it, but I've forgotten how to use VLOOKUP to do this, but you can actually use VLOOKUP to do this as well. I will check it out, and that will be the other way. But when we come to this place, anywho, any questions? The other way to go about it is to let me see, is to do it manually. I think. My phone has been up. But until then, any questions?
No, big no.
Seriously.
No, there's no
Oh,
question again.
okay. So what we might do is to look for other iterations of how we are going to use if, nested if, and ifs to solve problems tomorrow. Just to refresh your memory.
Sorry,
Does that
say
make
again.
sense? Is it okay for
Say
you so
again,
that we
please.
don't rush? I told you
No.
that I think I'm going to stop recording now.
Okay.
I hope I was recording. Oh, it is recording. Thank God for that.
Thank God.
So I was speaking to your husband. I was